Welcome to Fabrizio Travels. If you're first time, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the cost of living of what it costs to live here in Mexico City for the month of November. I'll be doing this as a series each month. I'll break down all the different costs that I had. And if you want a detailed spreadsheet of it, shoot me an email. It's going to be listed in the description below. And I'll probably add it here as well. So let me know. This month was the most expensive month that I've had. I spent 66,341 pesos, which ended up being $3,317.05. So for any future stuff, we're going to be basing it on 20-1 for the peso to dollar. It might be different by the time you watch this video. It might be more, it might be less. Overall, I would say if you're coming here, average on as low as 16. That's the lowest I've seen. And I foresee if it goes lower than that, it might not make sense to live here in Mexico permanently, or you need to make more income to be able to live here comfortably or maintain your lifestyle or dial some things back. So some of the big expenditures I had was a surgery for my dog Rhea. She's a Doberman, and she had a fatty tumor on her hip. She also had some other things that we took off that were more cosmetic, like a mole on her arm and then a skin tag that was hanging from her chest that was bothering her a little bit, but not necessarily inconveniencing her life as much. That ended up being 8,010 pesos, or $400.50. And that included medications, aftercare for surgery, other things like that. Other things we bought was from some used furniture. That was $4,300. So about $215. What that added up was an office chair, propane gas heater, and a shop vac. And an office desk, if I didn't mention that as well. Yeah. And a glass shelf. So a lot of the stuff, if you're in the different Facebook groups for expat, or you're going on Facebook Marketplace, you can usually find a lot of the different things you need, like big purchase items, like a fridge, a washer, on there, and they'll discount it. And it's usually lightly used, maybe used for like a year or two. So if you're on a budget and you're wanting to build up your set over time, I definitely recommend that. If you're a little bit picky and you want new stuff, like new couch, new furniture, that makes sense. I would go through Electra has been good, Sears, and Liverpool. Liverpool's a little bit more expensive, but it's kind of like your Target here. One of the other things we bought was a fridge. It is 14 PS, which is about your standard top freezer, lower fridge, about this wide or so. The fridge that we got was maybe a little bit smaller, so maybe about 1 meter wide. Enough to sustain the food for two people, maybe a child as well. And that was on sale compared to other places. We were looking anywhere from like 12 to 15,000 for a fridge. So about $500 for that. And for 10 to 15,000, that'd be about $500 to $750 to get a fridge. Other thing we got was a washer. That was significantly on sale. It was last year's model that they hadn't just sold yet, so it had a Whirlpool metal top instead of a clear top. It ended up being 7,000 pesos. The cheapest we found was 7,500. That price went up a couple days later, where they put it up to 8,500. And then others we found for 9,500. So I'd say anywhere from like 8,000 to 15,000 is what you should budget if you want to get a new washer. So about $400 to $750. You can easily go to laundromats. It will be cheaper over time to do your own laundry, just like it is in the US. Another thing we got was a 3-seater couch that had a chaise on it, and that ended up being $8,271, or about $413.55. Couches ranged from about $8,000 to $15,000, so about $400 to $750. Going out to eat, I spent about 8,690 pesos of the budget on going out to eat. That was about 16 times, with I want to say about 4 of those times was getting tacos. Tacos would be anywhere from 90 pesos to 120 is what that usually ended up being. And then, so for 12 times, we averaged about 684 pesos per going out to eat. And that'd be about $35 for a dinner of two most of the time. It might have been one where we split the bill, or it might have been me just eating out to dinner by myself at times. So I would base it on that. If it's two people and you're both paying, it's going to be about 700 to maybe 1,000 pesos at most. So you're looking at the $35 to $50 to go out to eat. And that's at like a sit-down restaurant, not necessarily getting from like Carl's Jr. or McDonald's. The rest, we're looking at 382 pesos for soft drinks. So that'd be like soft drinks, chips, energy drinks, juice. Energy drinks will range from like your Red Bull small can will be about 47 pesos to a Monster Energy drink 39. And then the larger Red Bulls can be as high as 84, usually at an OXXO. Juice, you're looking at 17 pesos per. They're usually a good size. It's about maybe a 16-ounce can or something like that from Jumex. That's really good and delicious. So I would definitely recommend those. So you're looking at $19.10 for an entire month just spending on soft drinks, drinks, and snacks. 524 pesos ended up being alcohol. So that would be about, let's see, $26 or so. And so that was like micheladas, which was about 90. Tall boy beers would be about 28 pesos. Craft beers, you're looking at 31 pesos per. That would be like a Minerva, where you can get like a dark beer or a Pilsner or a Pale Ale or other things like that. Those are actually pretty good. It's harder to find. You'll mainly just find them at Walmart for the most part. Cocktails, so that would be like your Cantaritos from New Mix. Those are really good. And a liter of beer would be about 45 pesos. Haircuts, you're looking at about 140 pesos here in Gustavo Amadero. If you're going to another neighborhood, it's probably going to be more expensive. This is a very working class neighborhood. The people that work the tienda or the bodegas or the stores that's nearby you live in the same neighborhood as you. Whereas in Benito Juarez, Polanco, Condesa, Reforma, they probably don't, because the prices have gone up so much over there and the cost of living for that specific area. So I pay about 140 and do a 60 peso tip. Recently this week they upped it to 150, so you'll see that in the next video. But that's just a small increase. I am the only foreigner in this neighborhood, outside of maybe some people that have came here from Haiti that I've seen, and that's about it. So there's not as much of an influence of expats or people from America moving to this neighborhood, and therefore the prices kind of show that. You don't have overly priced tacos. Everything's fairly spicy if you get the red salsa with it. For me, I enjoy it a lot, so I don't think it's that bad. But for other people, they might say, that's a bit much. I can't handle it. Other things that you'd be thinking about would be imported food is going to be a bit more expensive. So one of the things I would get is make Greek salads with a block of feta cheese. I'd usually use about half for myself, and that would be 200 pesos or $10 for just like that small, like square block of feta cheese. Other things would be like a kilo of cucumbers is about 20 pesos, so $1. 25 for Roma tomatoes. A kilo of limes is going to be about 20 pesos as well. And eggs, you're looking at 45 pesos for a kilo, which ends up being about a dozen eggs. They're not a dozen large eggs. They'll vary in size for them, so they don't necessarily divide them up that way. And so that's going to like your local tianguis, which it's like a farmer's market. If you're going to Walmart or Chedraui to shop, it's going to be a bit more expensive, but you can also get stuff in larger quantities there, or things that are bagged or prepackaged. Parking, you're looking anywhere from like 6 pesos is the minimum. Everywhere you go here, you have to pay for parking most of the time, whether that's at a parking meter or at Walmart. Just going to Walmart, you have to pay for parking there. So that can be 6 pesos if you bought stuff at the store, or I think the one near my Walmart is 5 pesos is what it drops down to. Any other place you're looking at 6. It'll never really go on over 100 pesos or $5 for even like going to a movie theater that's at a mall and watching a movie and spending like 3 or 4 hours at the mall in the parking area. So that's the different things. Out of that budget, a large amount of it came from the furniture, vet bill, buying different appliances. That ended up being 38,080 pesos, which ended up being 1,904. So overall, you're looking at about 1,600 for the month to live here in Mexico, and that's including my apartment, which is about $650 a month, and that's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. It's an Airbnb too as well. So I have gas, water, and electric included. For this area, you're looking at anywhere from about 10,000 to 12,000 pesos for an apartment. Some things you do want to consider when getting an apartment here is that you'll have to put down a deposit. You might have a deposit for your pet as well, and first month's rent. And if you're a foreigner and they don't do a policy, you can get a insurance policy that pretty much pays if you skip out on the rent. That one can range from 4,000 to 8,000, but most of them will require an aval, which is a cosigner of someone that has a property, owns it outright here in Mexico City, to cosign for you. And so if not, you need to get an attorney, and that's usually about 1 to 2 months rent. So I would definitely recommend getting an Airbnb when you first get here. Find out which neighborhoods you like, enjoy. I would so far recommend Gustavo Amadero. It's a good area for being an individual, walking around at night. That part's fine. Some of the gripes you might have is the pilgrims that come to the area in December. That kind of causes a lot of problems. And people that let their dogs out by themselves without a leash on, that can be a little bit of a nuisance. But overall, I would say the area is pretty good. Not too expensive, easy to get around. There's metro, the Metro Bus. There's the metro stations underground that you can take. So I would definitely say if you're able to make $2,000 a month, you'll be okay. You'll be comfortable. And Gustavo Amadero very much could be a good fit. So follow me along, shoot me a follow if you're interested. Shoot me an email if you want to get the full spreadsheet of what exactly all my itemized bills were. And I'll just put you on the email list for that. And let me know what you guys think. If you guys have suggestions, drop them down in the comments. Thanks.